Hello, I am Jomika and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program. This is episode 8 of our modded career. So last time we tried to get to the moon and land on it with a probe, but it failed because we lost communication to Kerbin. So what I think we want to do today is go ahead and go into the available contracts and try to pick up a satellite mission that maybe will help us keep a signal. Get us some extra cash. We have 216,000, but it wouldn't hurt to have more, and then also wouldn't hurt to have more satellites around Kerbin. So we could probably also do a moon one, and maybe even Menmis. But we'll start with Kerbin. So we'll probably try to pick up an easy one. 15 million meters. I feel like that's past the moon. I don't remember how far out the moon is, but seems like an easy one to build. Maybe a little bit harder to get out there. And this one is 6 million. Unmanned probe, antenna, generate power, a materials bay. So that'll be a little harder just because it's bigger. We do get more money, but not too much more. So this expires in 1 day. This expires in 4 days. So maybe we'll go ahead. We can only do one, I think. Let's just do this one. We'll accept it. We'll go to vehicle assembly building, and we'll see what we can build. I think we'll just try to use a similar spaceship to what we've used before. Relay satellite. Let's load this one. We do want a relay antenna on here. How much delta V is on this? 7,000. Load this one. That's only 4,000. So yeah, we will go with this as our base. Let's get rid of this fairing. Delete fairing. There we go. So what we can do here is go into science and get, what did it want? I thought it was a science junior. Materials bay. Is that this? Yeah. Alright, so 0.2, 0.2. Is this one just smaller? Yeah. Same size and everything, just smaller. So we'll use the bigger one. So still about 7,000 delta V. And then we can go ahead and build the fairing. So we'll start out about there. There we go. And we'll do something like that. So I think that should be enough. We've got thrust to weight ratio of 2, 1, and 0.8. 2,000 delta V once we get to this stage. So I think that'll be plenty. I mean, this made it to the moon. And probably could have landed if we didn't run out. So we will launch this and see if we can get it into orbit and in the correct orbit. So let's see. We want this to go in this orbit. So that should just be a normal orbit. Yeah, so we'll take off to the east like normal. Is it east? No, west. Take off to the west like normal. And we'll just make sure that everything is correct. And it looks like it is. So we'll go ahead and just go straight up. We don't need to turn over since this is going to be a much higher orbit. And we'll just see how it looks. So just get headed to space. We're about halfway with the solid fuel. And try to creep over to the right a little bit. Don't have to worry too much. And then this stage is over, so we'll get rid of that. Light the next one. And we'll point over to the right a little bit. So let's go ahead and take a look out here. We'll go to orbit prograde, and we'll just kind of stick there for a little bit. So I think this should be fine. We'll just kind of leave it here. I think we could just kind of continue to burn like this and should be okay. Our ascending node is 1 degree. I think that'll be alright. And you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and start to tilt over a little bit here. And then we can go ahead and get rid of the fairing. And that should be okay. We will also extend the antenna since we are in orbit now. And we'll go ahead and stop it right about there. We will get to closer to the apoapsis and then bring out our periapsis, since burning at the apoapsis is the most efficient way to raise the periapsis. We can start right about there. Just tilt over to 90 degrees again. And actually we can wait a little bit longer because that was burning pretty efficiently. So let's take a look back at our fuel. Yeah, that didn't seem very efficient. We may need more delta V to do this, but we'll see. We'll give it a shot, see how it goes. Speed up a little bit again, just because we don't need to wait. Yeah, I think maybe we should have just circularized first and then brought out our orbit from the periapsis and apoapsis. We'll go ahead and finish off this stage. Check that out. And then start that up. And then we'll bring this out to about here. I mean, it'll be up here, but that's fine. And then we can finish it off on the other side. So we cannot accelerate. And just stay prograde right here. And that should be fine there. So we still have plenty of fuel. I think we'll be actually okay. And we do want to warp to about here. So we'll quick save first. And I just double checked, we are headed in the right direction, so that is good. And then what we want is hopefully have a connection to Kerbal still. Looks like we will. And then we will go to prograde again and just finish this burn to mostly circularize. And then once we get to the periapsis or apoapsis, we can kind of finish off and get in the correct orbit. So periapsis will be down here, which is right about what we want. So it looks like we're pretty much in the orbit it wants since it went away. So let's go ahead and take a look. Maintain stability for 10 seconds. So that, I mean, we weren't super close, but I guess it's close enough to count. And then these are all lined up with the sun. But we are in a dark spot right now. So let's check this whole path here. So these do have signal to each other. A very weak signal to you, but that's okay. And then this has connection to Kerbal also. So we'll just leave it like that. No. This one. To vessel links. That's the one we want. I think that's the one I prefer to always keep. So there we go. We completion rewards 96,000 and 4 science. So we can speed up a little bit. We'll just make sure that you will get good enough sunlight. Shouldn't be a problem. And yeah, you have pretty good sunlight right there. So we'll leave that. We'll go ahead and do the materials bay. This will just be a one-time thing. And we'll just send it home. Since you're just gonna kind of sit up here, doesn't really matter. And that's fine. Probably don't have any temperature data. And pressure data should be the same also. Alright. So there we go. We'll go back to the go to the tracking center and take a look, see what it looks like. I mean, it's not going to look any different from the map since it is a map. But here we go. So we got these 2 satellites here, one going polar orbit, one going equatorial. And I don't know if it's always going to be, I mean, it definitely won't always be on the Kerbal Space or the Space Center side, but for now it looks like it's kind of lined up with it, pretty close. So that could work to our advantage if we try to go back to the moon right now. So the other one was way out here, so it is past the moon. I don't think we're going to do that one. And then it also wanted a satellite. Looks like 2 satellites around the moon. Sure, let's do one of those. So we'll exit out of here, go to mission control, and see what satellite things they have around the moon. So polar orbit of Kerbal, we already have one, so we won't worry about that. We got one in the moon for 126, 124. They're basically the same. Accelerometer, materials bay, an accelerometer and Magic orbital telescope. Well, I think we just want to try to land on the moon. That's what we tried last time, we failed, so I think I just want to do it again. And Yeah, we will do that. So we'll reload this one. We don't really want to keep the materials study on it. Zoom in here. I wish I knew how to zoom without pushing the center mouse wheel. And let's put some landing gear on here also. So we'll just have 4 of those, and then we'll start retracted. So let's launch that, and then we'll just get into orbit and get into the moon's sphere of influence. And then we can worry about everything else. So we'll do kind of the same thing I did last time. We'll just go straight up, and then with the next stage we'll kind of tilt over a little bit more aggressively. I'll start out going to the right, but that's just so we kind of naturally fall to the right as we're going, and we don't have to kind of cut back on ourselves if we start to drift to the left. So almost done with this stage, and then we'll go ahead, let those go, and then right away we'll do that. We'll do prograde for orbit, and we will zoom in here, make sure we get to at least 70. And then we'll also set our target to the moon. So we'll go to about 80, 85 or so. That was the wrong button. And we're gonna have to wait until the next go around. I mean, I guess I could go for it here, but I feel like that's a little risky. Our ascending node is 2 degrees off, but we'll leave it how it is. And then we'll just get a little bit closer. And then burn some more. And our fuel for this stage does not show up, so okay. And we can go ahead and get rid of that fairing. We don't need it anymore. Just a little bit of extra weight. And almost there. Time to apoapsis is climbing, so we'll slow down, get a little bit closer. And now we are in orbit, and our descending node is 0.7 degrees, so we are fine there. And then we'll wait until we have a good encounter with the moon. Just make sure that our solar panels are working, pointing the sun, or pointing at the sun. And then we'll wait for the moon to come into view again, and we'll burn basically prograde around Kerbal. So we point basically our orbits, not orbits, but yeah, I don't know what I'm saying. Basically when we burn, it'll shoot out our orbit and meet with the moon in the future. And that's exactly what we want. So we will wait, point prograde, and then wait until the moon comes into view just over the horizon, I'm not sure if that was planned out when they made this game, or that's just how it worked out, but it is very convenient. So we will go ahead and start to burn right now, and we'll just watch our orbit come out to about here, and then meet up with the moon over in that area. So that stage is done. Get rid of that. Lots of space junk. Like that engine. Come back out here, just so we don't overshoot. So we do have an encounter. Let's go ahead and focus our view here, and then we'll come in and get a nice close encounter. So we'll get to about 20 or so, and then we can kind of do a burn. Maybe at the periapsis by the time it gets over there. But we'll leave it like that. We'll quick save and backspace. So we're pointing back at here. And yeah, we'll just go ahead and get into the view of the sun again. And then once we do, we'll make sure we're pointed, our solar panels are pointed and working. And they are. So we can wait until about here. We'll warp to there. We have no connection. I don't know why this kind of gets dark while playing, but it definitely does. So this has a connection, but it's too far away. So I think we definitely need like a... Yeah, this is definitely getting darker right now. I don't know if you guys see that or not. On my other monitor it looks okay. Maybe my monitor's just dying. Anyways, maybe one thing we can do, we'll quick save again. Go to the Space Center. Maybe we can upgrade our tracking center. Kind of increase the signal strength from Kerbal, and maybe that'll go through a little better on the other end. But we can't because we don't have enough money. So we'll enter the tracking station again, go back to that probe, and see if we can't get a connection at some point before we skip out of the sphere of influence of the moon. So there we go, we do have another connection. It is a weak one, but that's okay. So yeah, from here we'll burn retrograde. So we'll go ahead and start that burn right now. And then we'll bring both of these down to about 25 or so. So I think that'll work. And then what we can do is time warp again. We'll wait till we're on the other side. Actually, we could probably... Well, it's too late now. I was going to say we could probably start our burn and descent, so when we're on the other side of the moon, we don't have to use as much fuel. But I think what we'll do is quick save here. And then as soon as we get another connection, we'll burn retrograde and try to land. So we'll try to land somewhere over here, I think. So right about there would be perfect. So let's go ahead, come here. We have plenty of fuel. We will toggle our landing gear and go ahead and speed this up. And yeah, you're still on track. Still have a decent, well, not decent, but we have a good enough connection. And here's our shadow. So we have a 34-second burn. Estimated impact is in 60 seconds. And that estimated burn, I think, is just the most efficient burn you can make. Basically the suicide burn before you hit the ground. But we'll just go ahead and burn from here since we have the fuel. And then I have to remember that the thrust to weight ratio on this is below 1, so we have to start our burns much earlier. Let's go. Oh, this is why. Extend the antenna, we instantly go up to 100%. And we could probably talk to the other ships as well. No, I don't think we can. But that's okay. Let's extend that. Log pressure data. Nope. I think we did this before. Alright. So we're going to try to land here. Quick save again. Impact in 20 seconds. Estimated burn is 10. So we will go ahead and go right about now. And that was... Alright, well, that's fine. So there's our shadow. Go ahead and point directly up. And then we don't really have to worry about getting this home because it's not going to make it into the atmosphere. And any data we get, we can just transmit. So slow it down a little bit more. Just a nice soft landing here. That's what I'm going for. So 3, 2... And there we go. So we landed on the surface. We will transmit the atmospheric pressure scan, the magnetometer scan, and the temperature scan. And you are not a probe again. I'd really like you to be a probe. Rename vessel, set you to a probe, accept, and there we go. Completed the mission. Let's get rid of that. And take a look here. Completion reward 125,000, 5 science, 38 reputation, and 7,000 extra just for landing on the moon. So yeah, this looks pretty good here. We'll just double check, make sure there's no more science, even though there shouldn't be. And you are in direct sunlight, should be charging up, and you are. And you can just kind of sit here You could always go to a different biome because you have plenty of fuel, but we'll save that for a different time. We will go ahead and go to the tracking station, just take a look at all of our connections. And there is a connection way out to the moon, but it is a direct connection from Kerbal. I think these relay things aren't strong enough to relay from Kerbal out here than to the other guy. But that's okay. I think eventually we'll be able to unlock some more better relay antennas, and then we can use those instead. I don't think we have them now. But yeah, I think that's going to do it for today's episode. If you liked the episode, be sure to hit the like button, and if you want to make sure you don't miss any future episodes, be sure to subscribe to the channel. And thank you for joining me. I will see you guys next time.